Okay, SHRUD Life. I want to let you know, man, you touched on a good, deep subject. The one you talked about dealing with incest, right? Now, everybody wants to believe that Adam and Eve was the only people on Earth, and they populated the whole Earth, which is not the motherfucking case at all. Now, hear me out. Adam and Eve was created by God. They weren't the only people that was created by God, though. They was the only people that was created by God in His own image. That's the difference. And these Christians that go around believing that incest is cool or incest was the case with the earth populating is not the case at all, bro. But see, you wouldn't know that. A lot of people wouldn't know that because a lot of people who claim to be Christians, they only read the King James Version text. Why do you think it's called King James Version? Because that is one version. That's not the whole entire Bible. You know, there are books, other books that was in the Bible. There's one book called the Book of Adam and Eve, the Book of Sarah, the Book of Enoch. You know, those books are not in the Bible. And I'm going to tell you why they're not in the Bible, bro. Mind you, they're not in the Bible because a lot of the fucking Catholics, not just Catholics, other priests too, got together and said we cannot let people know that they can talk to God on their own on a one-on-one basis. So we will scare them and make them feel like the only way they can get into heaven is if they talk to us. So if you notice what the Catholic priests would do, they would tell people, they would say, when you have a sin, don't come and tell God your sin. You tell us your sin, and we will tell God for you. Oh yeah, but you gotta give us some money for it. That's what they taught. They taught the people how to depend on the priest. But if you read the book of Enoch, you will see that you, me, and anybody else can talk to God our own on a one-on-one basis. Excuse me. That's one example. But as far as the thing go with Adam and Eve and incest, Adam and Eve was the first people that God created in His own image, right? But they weren't the only people that was on Earth. And I can back this shit up with what I'm talking about. Now, if you think I'm bullshitting, see, people want to say that Cain had a sister. He took his sister and had sex with her and made other people bullshit. If you notice that when God kicked Cain out of like, you know, the land of where the mom and dad, Adam and Eve, and after he killed, you know, slain the head, Abel in the head, he told God, he said, you can't send me away from here, because if you send me away from here, he said, all the people out there are going to kill me. Now, nobody never really thought to ask, who the fuck are these other people they're talking about? But see, people try to say, well, what it was other kids by Adam and Eve too, and then they had people, and then Cain had to leave, and it was no bullshit. It was other people that was created too. But God didn't create it. Just like God created people, people do not want to believe this shit. But bro, I'm telling you, this shit is so real. People do not want to believe this shit. But just like how God created people, the devil created people too. Not all of them, some of them. Because he tried to be so much like God. So, when Cain walks and go to another land, he's in the land with other people. And they not his brother or sister, none of that shit either. They was other fucking people. So, that lets you know right there that there was other people on earth. And no, God did not believe in incest. So, incest was never the case with God's people. And Genesis, like, cut shit out. It didn't tell the whole story because people took shit out of the Bible and took stuff and changed it around and made it their own way. Before the great flood came, and before Noah even built the ark and all this, it was a man named Enoch. Enoch, if you notice, Enoch is mentioned in the King James Version Bible in Genesis. He's only mentioned in one chapter, and then it say that Noah was Enoch's great great grandson. And only thing you hear about Enoch is that God loved Enoch so much that he took Enoch under his own wing. No, Enoch had his own story too. And what happened was, it was these angels that turned against God, and they decided to be like Lucifer, which is the devil. They decided that, you know what, these women on earth, man, looking good as a motherfucker, man. Man, we should go, bag some of them bitches on our own. They ain't say it exactly like that, but that's what they was thinking. We should go and bag some of these bitches on our own, man. And that's what they did. And God hated that they did that, because it was never meant for angels and men to mess with each other. And you think I'm bullshitting? You go to chapter 6 and you will see that it say, the Son of Man saw the woman on earth to be so beautiful that they had sex with them. That's all it says, to touch on that and say that's how the Nephilim were born. But there were giants and people like that, and they came from these fallen angels. These fallen angels was going around and having sex with the women. And if all the angels won't just fucking having sex with the women, they was fucking the animals. They was doing experiments, like all this shit that we see that we think is new now with artificial insemination and fucking gene slicing and all that shit. The fallen angels was doing that shit back in biblical times. That's why God was pissed, because the fallen angels, they started teaching the people how to do spells, how to do seances, how to wear makeup, how to make swords and shields, because we never knew none of that shit. The fallen angels showed us how to, worship the stars, the astrology shit. Like when niggas be looking at their horoscopes, that's demonic too. People don't want to believe that shit, but that shit is demonic. The fallen angels taught man how to do that shit, and they corrupted the world so bad that God had to destroy the world. So when God was ready to destroy the world, he got Noah and all of his family. They weren't his homies, they was his family. That was his